Yeah, I'm here.
Great, thank you so much. Board Member Huang, can you do a video and audio check for me, please?
Hello? Hello?
Great, thank you so much. I can hear and see you.
Thank you.
And Chair Muser, it looks like all board members are on at this point.
Yeah, he barely is. He's like never there.
Okay, thank you. I might need, right now, I'm not seeing all the board members on my screen on my iPad. Is that because we haven't started, or do I need to do something? That'll be kind of important to be able to.
I believe it's because I'm sharing my screen. So once everyone turns their cameras on and I stop sharing, you should be able to see everyone.
Okay, and do we have a quorum so we can start?
We do. Everyone is on, so we can start whenever you are.
Okay, and I'm sorry. Can I get your name again?
It's Michelle.
Or your last name?
Montoya.
Montoya. Okay, that's right. All right. Thank you. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and we'll get rolling.
Chair Muser, we have Kimberly Hopwood acting as our recording secretary tonight with Mike here to guide her, just to give you a heads up.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, there's everybody. Okay, welcome everyone to the March 2nd City of Santa Rosa Cultural Heritage Board meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order, and Ms. Montoya, if we could have a roll call.
Let the record reflect that all board members are present.
Okay, fantastic. Due to the provisions of the Governor's Executive Order N2520 and N2920, which suspend certain requirements of the Brown Act, and the order of the health officer of the County of Sonoma to shelter in place, minimize spread of COVID-19, the Cultural Heritage Board is conducting today's meeting in a virtual setting using Zoom webinar. Board members and staff are participating from remote locations and or practicing appropriate social distancing. Members of the public may view and listen to the meeting as noted on the city's website and as noted on the agenda. Members of the public wishing to speak during item 3, public comment, or during our public hearing items will be able to do so by raising their hand and will be given the opportunity to address the board. Okay, moving on to item number 2, approval of the minutes. We have several minutes to approve tonight. So we'll just go one by one. Do any of our board members have any changes or additions to the minutes from September 1st, 2021? Okay. We'll approve the September 1st, 2021 minutes. The November 3rd, 2021 draft minutes. Okay, seeing no changes, we'll approve the November 3rd, 2021 draft minutes. November 17th, 2021 draft minutes. Okay, we will approve November 17th, 2021 draft minutes and the January 5th, 2022 draft minutes. Any changes? Okay, we'll approve the January 5th, 2022 draft minutes. All right, moving to item 3, public comment. Okay, we are now open for public comment for any item not included in this meeting's agenda. If you wish to make a comment via Zoom, please select the raise hand button. If you are dialing via telephone, please dial *9 to raise your hand. Each speaker has 3 minutes. A countdown timer will appear for the convenience of the speaker and viewers. Please make sure to unmute yourself when you are invited to do so. Your microphone will be muted at the end of that countdown. Ms. Montoya, do we have anyone requesting to make public comment?
We do not have any hands raised at this time.
Okay.
Hey, Chair Muser, just to clarify, this is Mike reporting some training here. Ms. Hopwood's going to be the one that you'd want to direct your questions to. She's taking minutes tonight. Just so you're aware.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to inform you that Ms. Hopwood's going to be the one taking minutes, and if you can direct your questions to her, she'll be the one answering it.
Okay, so I'm going to direct question to...
as far as if anyone's raising their hand or not, it's Kimberly Hopwood. She's the recording secretary tonight.
Kimberly, and spell her last name for me, please.
Hopwood. Hopwood.
Okay. Hopwood. Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Okay, great. Okay, so we'll close public comment period then. Moving on to item 4, board business. And I'm going to go ahead and read the Cultural Heritage Board Statement of Purpose. The principal duties of the board include undertaking and updating historic inventories or surveys, recommending designation of landmarks and preservation districts, reviewing proposed alterations to historic buildings, and promoting public awareness of preservation issues. If you are in a historic district or would like more information regarding historic districts, please see the processing review procedures for owners of historic properties. Okay, moving on to item 4.2, board member reports. Do we have any board members who would like to make a report at this time? Raise your hand. So, okay, seeing none. Well, I have one. And hopefully Ms. Murray may jump in and help me as I muddle through this, because this is kind of a first time issue for me, and we'll see if we can, do it properly. I basically have been reviewing the master planning process for Fremont Park. And through the process, it's kind of become apparent to me of the historic elements that are really in that park. And I would like to introduce to the board the possibility of pursuing a landmark designation for the park. Let me just give you a quick history. The property was purchased by settler Hammond, and it was initially used for the Fremont Grammar School. Hammond also owned the property that where the rural cemetery is located. The park was named after John C. Fremont. In 1926, it was sold to the city of Santa Rosa. The park was designed by architect Howard Gilkey, and Howard Gilkey is a pretty notable figure himself. He grew up in Santa Rosa. He worked for Luther Burbank. He attended school in Berkeley. He designed both Juilliard and Fremont Park. He worked at a time for the WPA. I think that's where he got a lot of his experience with regards to a lot of the WPA work that was done, especially at Juilliard Park. He worked for the city of Oakland as a city park and planning engineer. And then in 2000, the Cancer Survivor Plaza was installed at the park. My belief is the notable features of the park include basically the original design features. If you look at the original blueprint, it's pretty much hasn't been changed that much. It's a nice and original architectural design. The fountain, the concrete arbors, the light standards, the yew trees, as well as there are 70 trees on the park, 20 different varieties. And a significant number of those are protected trees. So I know some of you have probably also been following the master planning process. I do have some concerns that the comments that we made don't seem to be reflected too much in the alternatives that are being given. And one of the alternatives that isn't listed is restoring the park as it is. So all the alternatives are basically significant changes to the park. My understanding, the way we would proceed is we would need a motion and a second to be able to put this on the agenda at our next meeting. We can't discuss it tonight. I'm just making a presentation, but if we got a motion and a second for our to agendize it the next meeting, that would then allow a discussion period. It would also allow us to open it for public comment as well. At that time, we would probably start discussing what would be needed documentation-wise for justification for landmark status. There is potential funding issues. Basically, city staff would act as our agents to prepare the documentation, and for them to do that, they would probably need an allocation of funds for that to happen. But my thinking is we'll just kind of cross that road when we come to it. Should the board feel that landmark status is appropriate for the park. So I think that's about all I have to say. Ms. Murray, did I get that right? Do we just tonight just do a motion and a second? If we receive a second, then we can agendize it?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
it's start with a motion and we'll go, it's a motion, a second and a vote, and it gets agendized to talk about the scope.
Okay, so we do take a vote as well?
Yes, on this, on this one we do.
Okay. Board Member Garrett, let's see.
Well, first, I'd like to thank you, Chair Muser, for bringing this to the board. I also have been following it. I know there are a number of others on our board who have, and I agree this should be a landmark, historic landmark designation. And so I would move that we bring this to a vote to bring to our next board meeting to discuss.
Okay, thank you, Board Member Garrett. Board Member Warren.
I would second that motion.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. We can't, like I say, can't really discuss it, so I'm just going to call for a vote. Ms. Hopwood, if you could call for a vote on the motion second.
Board Member Boren, I'm sorry, could you please unmute?
Aye.
Thank you. Board Member Garrett,
Aye.
Board Member Huang,
Aye.
Board Member Pratzelis, Vice Chair Fennell,
Aye.
Chair Muser.
Aye. Okay, well, thank you. And I'll be working with Ms. Murray trying to make sure we do this process properly and get board members the information that they need so that at the next meeting we can move it into a discussion period. Okay. Any other board member reports? Okay, moving then on to item 4.3, vice chair elections. So this is an annual thing that happens with the vice chair. I wish they did it with the chair. But anyway, you're stuck with me for a while. At this time, I'd like to see if anyone would like to nominate a board member for the position of vice chair.
I don't know if it's okay to self-nominate, but I'm willing to do it if nobody else is interested. I will happily be vice chair.
Okay, thank you, Board Member Pratzelis. And Board Member Garrett.
I was actually going to nominate Board Member Pratzelis, so you don't have to step forward or you don't have to nominate yourself. I will do that for you.
Okay, any other nominations this time? Okay. Seeing none, I'm going to call for a vote.
Chair Muser, I think we need to get a second for that.
Oh, okay.
Nomination.
Do we have a second for the nomination? Board Member Boren.
I second that nomination.
Okay, thank you, Board Member Boren. Okay.
And the next one, I think it probably goes without saying at this point, but we also need for Board Member Pratzelis to accept the nomination, just to be official here.
Okay.
I accept, thank you.
Okay. I would call for a vote then.
Board Member Boren,
I vote aye.
Board Member Garrett,
Aye.
Board Member Huang,
Aye.
Board Member Prince-Ellis,
Aye.
Vice Chair Fennel,
Aye.
Chair Muser.
Aye. I'd like to thank Vice Chair Fennel for her time being Vice Chair. You know, one of the difficulties that we've had is we all love historic districts and we tend to live in historic districts. Vice Chair Fennel and I both live in the same one. And even though I hate to see Vice Chair Fennel go, it kind of solves an issue where sometimes we don't get a quorum in our own historic neighborhood because both Board Member Fennel and myself have to abstain. And so having it spread out a little bit jurisdictionally, I think will help in making sure that you either have a chair or a vice chair to coordinate. But thank you for serving as vice chair, Board Member Fennel, and we'll see what rolls around next year. Okay. Moving on then to department reports. So Ms. Murray, do you have a department report for us?
I do. I have some housekeeping things, but the first thing that I wanted to start with is to let y'all know that April, we're not going to have any meetings in April, or at least we're going to try not to have meetings in April unless there's an absolute emergency. If there's something urgent, we will figure it out. But the council chambers is being updated to make our hybrid meetings a little bit easier. And so, which is good news. It looks like we're also getting closer to that, starting up the hybrid meetings soon. So I don't know about all of you, but I am certainly looking forward to that. And then I have a couple of housekeeping things. I have that old reminder. If you guys can please just make a point to check your emails. I'd love it if you do it twice a month or twice a week, but once a week would probably suffice. As far as getting those quorums, we're having a hard time with that. And important to note too, when we're asking for the quorums, it's not a commitment yet. It's just saying that you're available as of that time, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible to confirm that that date is a go. And I am relying on memory here, which is not good. I had a couple other notes. The Brown Act, a reminder to everybody, you'll see emails coming in from members of the public and what have you. City staff will generally put that big header at the top that says, please don't reply to all. But regardless if that little alert is there, please don't reply to all, because that's a violation of the Brown Act. So if you can, if there's something that you want to forward to me and ask me to send to people, I'm happy to do that and assist you. That's part of my job. Yeah, if you could just make sure you don't reply to all. It's a housekeeping measure that we're reminding all of our board members. Don't worry, nobody's in trouble. And I think that does it for me.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Murray. Okay. Just a quick question. Do you think we will have a second meeting in March?
Very good question. We don't have it set yet. We're thinking about a special meeting or a second meeting on March 30th. There was some discussion about it. I don't expect that will happen. I think that's going to wait until May, because it's not something that we have the staff time to really accommodate right now. But yeah, as it stands, there was some discussion. I don't anticipate a second meeting in March.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, moving on to item number 6, statement of abstentions by board members. So we do have an item tonight, 1122 Mcdonald Avenue. Do we have any board members that need to abstain from that? Board member Wong.
I have a conflict. I live 2 doors down from the applicant.
Okay. Let me ask Miss Murray. I don't believe we're taking action on this tonight, if I'm correct. I think this is a concept item.
You are correct. And Board Member Huang called me earlier, and I checked with City Attorney's Office and confirmed that he does need to recuse himself, regardless if action is being taken or not, because of his proximity to the subject site.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thought that was the case, but I thought I'd just double check. Okay. Any other members? Well, Board Member Wong, I think you can go ahead and excuse yourself at this point. This is the only item that we have tonight, so we'll be adjourning after this item. So,
Can I listen in as a participant?
You certainly can. You'll just have to turn your video off.
I think I'll exit and then get back in as a participant.
Okay. Yeah.
Board Member Huang, I can make you an attendee so that you don't have to log off and then log back on.
Perfect. Thank you.
There you go. Yeah, in the old days when we used to meet, and they just send you into the next room. They had a nice big TV screen you could watch in there. Maybe we'll be back to that one of these days soon. Okay, item 7, consent items, seeing none. So we're going to move on to item 8, our scheduled items. Before we get to that, we check in with the ex parte communication disclosure. So I'll kind of start it off. I went by the site and reviewed the site, did not speak to anyone, but I did stop by and look at the site. Anyone else? Board Member Warren.
Chair Muser, really quick, as a point of order, we don't need to do ex parte disclosures on a consent item, if you'd like to go forward.
Let me go ahead and repeat. Mike, we're having a real hard time hearing you. So what he said is that we're not taking any action, so no ex parte disclosure is involved here is required here since it's a concept item. And Mike, again, if you got, I don't know, we're having a real hard time hearing you.
Here I go and I remember to do ex parte, and that now it's not required this time. So I learned something every single meeting. So, Board Member Garrett.
Although it's not required in light of being totally transparent, I used to live 2 doors down from the Beans, and I know them well and consider them, friends. And I've also discussed this with them over, the last year. So I just think I should be upfront about that.
Okay, thank you very much, Board Member Garrett. Okay, so we're going to move on to item 8.1. This is a concept item. This is the Bean Front Yard Brick and Walkway landmark alteration at 1122 Mcdonald Avenue. I'll read the quick background. Concept landmark alteration permit to obtain guidance from the Cultural Heritage Board on the following proposed changes. Add brick steps from brick walkway to the porch. Replace rotten wood steps from driveway to porch with bricks. Add brick skirt to front of house to cover foundation at porch height. Replace existing brick concrete driveway with brick. Install brick walkways in the front. Install small fountain on brick walkway to front door. Replace existing rotten porch deck with brick, and landscape hardscape brick. So with that, I'm gonna kind of do like we've done in the past. We'll get a staff report from Ms. Toma.
2 minutes.
Say your last name again. I'm sorry.
2 minutes.
2 minutes?
Yes, you got it right.
Was that right? Okay. And then I don't know, is the applicant going to be saying anything tonight? Okay, then we'll hear from the applicant. Then I'll let the board ask any questions of staff and the applicant for clarification. Ms. Murray, do we need to open this up for public hearing since it's a concept?
Not public hearing, but public comment. Yeah,
okay.
I would open it up.
Okay, well, then we'll open up for public comment. We'll close public comment and then give board members opportunity for questions again, then introduce the resolution and go from there. And then have our discussion after the resolution's discussed or open. So, Ms. Tumins, it's all yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me share my screen. So this is a concept, landmark concept review for 1122 Mcdonald Avenue. And a concept review by the Cultural Heritage Board is a complimentary service for homeowners within historic preservation districts. And it's actually encouraged that they visit the Cultural Heritage Board for a concept review prior to embarking on a project so they can get some guidance from the board. And you, Chair Muser, you already went through this list, but the project description includes 8 items that would alter the front facade. And most of them involve landscaping and hardscape in the front of the house, brick walkways to the porch, rotten wooden steps from driveway to the porch, adding a brick skirt to front of house, replacing existing brick concrete driveway with brick, installing brick walkways, installing a small fountain, replacing a rotten porch deck with brick, and various other landscape modifications to the front that would affect the front facade. So this is an aerial of the project site. It's near the corner of Mcdonald Avenue and Spencer. And here is the applicant's site plan showing the planned landscape configuration. And here is the original street elevation of the front of the house. Here are the proposed changes to the front of the house. You can see the brick along the bottom 16 inches of the house and a little bit of the brick walkway. Here is the type of brick that the applicant has chosen to use. And I'll let the homeowner discuss this a little bit more in detail, but here are some original site photos showing the home before any alterations took place. And here are current site photos. As you can see, the front yard is divided into 4 quadrants with brick. I don't believe the porch has been altered, but I'll let the homeowner go through that. He has a photo presentation after my PowerPoint concludes. As far as CEQA, this is not a project. This is a request for the CHB to provide comments and direction for a concept review item, and it's exempt from CEQA because there's no action being taken tonight. And with that, here is my contact information in case anyone from the public has any follow-up questions or comments. I can be reached at ktoomians@srcity.org, and my work number is 707-543-4692. And with that, the homeowner would like to share some photos and describe his proposed changes in greater detail with you all.
Thank you, Ms. Tumans. So we have the homeowner coming on. There he is.
Hello. Am I on?
Yep, we can hear you, Jeff.
Okay.
You need to turn your video on, though, or...
Let's see. How do I do that? Okay.
We're only able to control permissions to speak for our applicants. Cameras are not enabled.
I'm not sure how to turn on the camera. I'm sorry.
Jeff, this is Susie Murray, and you don't need to turn on your camera. I don't think you are able to do that. We'll just need your volume. We just need to hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. I'm Jeff Bean at 1122 Mcdonald Avenue, representing me and my wife, Shelley. We purchased this house a year ago and have begun work on the outside landscaping and would like to make these changes listed in our project. This house is a craftsman bungalow style, meaning that it's got a low profile, low to the ground. Usually these bungalows have 1 or 2 steps to a front porch, as this one does. And I think that adding brick steps and brick skirt would be an appropriate alteration to the building site. I don't know, do you guys have questions of me? I could go on.
Mr. Bean, I do have the photos that you provided.
Yes.
Okay. Would you like me to share those now?
Sure, that'd be great. So this is a photo of the original wood steps, which were off the north side of the porch to the driveway. There were no steps off the west side of the porch facing the street. As you can see, the steps are very deteriorated, and as was the porch. The porch was like the steps, made out of 2x6, I think Doug fir, and was rotten and was actually falling in parts. The previous owner had a mat over the part with the hole so that someone wouldn't fall in. I did remove that old porch and these steps and made a new porch base. I'm still waiting to put in brick steps. you can advance to the next photo. This is just the current view. Next photo, please. This is the house next door located at 1128 Mcdonald Avenue. Originally, this house and my house at 1122 were both built at the same time in 1922. These houses were built as mirror images for two sisters who were going to live there, as I have heard. Next photo, please. This is the house next door in greater detail. Obviously, some changes have been made to that house, as it no longer looks like a mirror image of my house. Could you go back to the previous photo, please? I just want to note that this house has a brick porch and 2 brick steps to the porch, same as I'm proposing. Next photo. Next photo. This is my house at 1120 Mcdonald Avenue. In 2018, we went before the Cultural Heritage Board to change the existing wood steps and wood skirt to brick steps and a brick skirt. We were approved by the Cultural Heritage Board to do that, and this is the result of our changes to the porch and steps. Next photo. Just a schematic showing in red where the brick would be. Next. I did include photos of nearby houses in the neighborhood. I went out my front door and walked around the block and took photos of other houses, most of them also craftsman bungalows with a couple of steps to the front porch, showing, to give an idea of how many houses in a 1 block area also have brick steps to a brick porch. Do we have those photos available? It's called Photos of Nearby Houses.
I didn't realize you sent me additional photos. I thought they were the same ones.
No, those. I sent them because they weren't included in the photo set when I checked on the computer. Ms. Murray, do you have those photos?
I can get them.
I don't know that we can introduce those photos at this point, but it's a concept item. So I think that maybe we could save those photos for when it comes back. Okay. And it's because of the Brown Act, because we should post those photos in advance of the meeting. But I think that I think just explaining what's in the photos, it would be adequate for the board members to hear, and we will certainly share them with them in the future.
Okay, well, the point of those photos was to show that most of the craftsman bungalows with wood steps are those that are a story and a half. Most of them, the ground level starts 6 or 8 steps above the ground, the first floor level. And my thought in the pictures is to show how common it is for these craftsman bungalows to have 2 steps, brick to a brick porch. And I've got a whole slew of them in the 1 block radius. Just to point out that I'm in keeping with the historic neighborhood. Are there any questions of me?
Okay, do any of the board member Garrett?
I always have questions. Hi, Mr. Bean. I'm going to call you Mr. Bean for this public meeting. I do have two questions. You have an original photo of the house and where it shows the stairs to the porch on the north side and no front stairs. It appears that there is a wall, which would be typical on these craftsman cottages, to the front facing the Mcdonald Avenue side of the house. Was that removed, that wall at the front of the house? It looks like there's a planting in front of it or maybe ivy on it.
What you're talking about is common in craftsman homes. This is a craftsman bungalow, and it did not have that wall.
Oh, was that a hedge there?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Boxwood hedge.
Okay. Thank you. And then I have one other question. How many rows of the original siding are you removing to put the brick? Basically apply the brick to the foundation.
I'm hoping to not remove any, and just put a waterproof barrier over it with a piece of angled metal that will divert the water out from the siding onto the top of the brick skirt.
So you would protect and divert. You would protect and then cover the. It looks like it would be maybe 5 rows of that siding on the front side of the house that you would have to cover to add the brick. Is that correct?
I believe it's only 3 or 4, but
yeah. Okay.
But I was planning to maintain that.
Okay. And then one other quick question. When I walked by the other day, I noticed there's a big concrete pad at the south end of the, is that going to be a little patio there or?
Yes.
Okay. But it will be covered with brick, right?
It is.
Okay. Is it already or it
yeah,
will?
Well.
Yeah, it is
yes,
already.
Pretty much.
You move quickly. Okay. Thanks, Jeff.
Any other board members have any questions? Mr. Bean?
I can't see. No video.
Board Member Bourne?
I was just curious, where in this, I see the quadrants, where would your fountain be?
In the middle of in between the 4, right in the center, on the path to the front door.
Ah, okay.
Board Member Garrett?
Sorry, I'm still looking at this old photo. It looks like there was a beam at the below the roof there that connected to a post and then to the house. And that's no longer there. So what went in its place at the corner at the house?
There were 2 beams holding up the roof above the porch. They were rotten and were replaced.
No, those are posts, not beams.
Those.
The beam is there. The posts. I got to go because my mom.
Oh.
Those are posts.
The beam. The beam is still there.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Right underneath the roof.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Go ahead, Mr. Bean.
I know you're not able to make any action on this this evening, but I just want to point out that I submitted my request for this in early September, nearly 6 months ago. And I'm anxious to get this done. So I'm hoping that at your next meeting, March 16th, that you'll be able to take action on this project, and so I can get moving along.
Okay. Board Member Garrett.
I'm sorry, I have another question. In light of that, are you putting in a fence in that looks like a planting space between the sidewalk and where the brick?
Yeah. Yes, that's my plan.
Okay, it would be a really great idea if you put that on your next set of plans, so you don't have to get a separate permit for that.
I was told by the city staff that any fence less than, I think it was 4 feet tall does not require a permit.
Is that true, Planner Tremaines?
So it may not require a building permit, but most alterations to an historic district require some level of review. Let me double check and I will get you an answer.
Thanks, because it seems as if it would be a giant hassle for them to have to come back for another permit.
Board Member Fennell.
When I put my picket fence in my front yard, it wasn't a major landmark alteration, so it wasn't required to come before the board, but I think the height requirement was 3 feet, and it had to be picket in style and was definitely limited to 3 feet. We had one that came before us last year. They came before us solely because it was a 4-foot fence on Tupper Street.
So I have the code open right now, and for a minor fences, walkways, and decks, and it has a list of things, would require a minor landmark alteration. Any fence that also requires a use permit, so fences that exceed the height limit in a setback, so anything above 3 feet in the front setback would require a major landmark alteration permit. So, but if this item is already going forward for a major landmark alteration permit, and it can be, that fence can be included along with it.
Okay, I'll draw that up and submit it.
Well, as chair, I probably have a stupid question. I'm curious, what in this project specifically triggered the major landmark alteration permit? Was it the facade on the building? I'm just wondering if we're getting into the weeds on landscaping.
Well, as I was informed by city staff, it's that brick skirt that triggered it. If I wanted to attach it to the building, the city said that if I left a little space between the building and that brick skirt and built the same brick skirt, looks exactly the same from the street, then it's a landscape feature and I don't need to go through all this, which I think is really ridiculous, that if there's a tiny space, I don't need to do this at all. If it touches the house, then all of a sudden it's a major landmark alteration. So,
Mr. Bean, it might also be the changing the porch to brick as well, and the brick steps going up to the porch. That change, but I just wanted to clarify that as far as the driveway, the sidewalks, and that type of stuff. And correct me if I'm wrong, but that isn't something that we need to really spend time and consideration. Our focus is really on those elements that affect the structure of the house.
Okay, I already got approval for the driveway, walkways through the city on another thing.
Okay. Okay.
And,
So,
and my wife would actually like to have a wood porch. So if I can't have a brick porch, then maybe I'll stay with wood.
okay, any other questions from board members for Mr. Bean? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just take a minute and open this up for just public comment. If we have any members of the public that are out there. And Ms. Hopwood, do you see anybody who would like to comment?
We don't see any raised hands at this time.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and close the public comment. I think because Mr. Bean is looking for direction from the board at this point in the project, I'd like to see if we have board members that could give some specifics to him that will help him with having a positive experience in his remodel. So I'll open that up.
Awesome.
Okay, board member Garrett.
Seems to be my role to start it off.
That's okay.
I want to say something, but then I'm going to suggest. Well, anyway, our processing review procedures say that wood steps and porches should not be replaced by any other material other than wood. However, having had a very large redwood porch on my own house that constantly the steps and the porch rotted out because they get wet in a rain, I have no issue with the brick, with replacing that porch and the steps with brick steps. Mainly because it's makes more sense from a material point of view. Also, I took photos as well that I gave to Mr. Bean and his wife of all the brick porches, and most of them were replacement porches on Mcdonald Avenue, and nearly half of all the porches are brick. And there are a smattering of concrete porches, and then the rest are wood. But as you all are probably aware, redwood is no longer a hardwood, and it doesn't hold up. And so for that reason, I would be fine with their changing it to brick. I do, however, have a problem, and I've already spoken with the Beans about this in the past, so but I do have a problem with changing the siding of the house and cladding it with a faux, a faux brick, a narrower flat brick, basically, because it will still be proud of the siding itself, and it is not an architectural feature of an historic house. Historic houses typically overhang their foundation by a couple inches. And this is a contributor to the neighborhood. So I do have a problem with that part. I don't know if there's a way it can be changed. If it goes up to the porch and covers the foundation, that part doesn't bother me, but it's going onto the house where the house is at, forward, a little bit forward of the porch.
So I'm not using faux brick or thin brick. I'm using, I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Well, I would assume that if you're putting Tyvek or whatever over the siding, and then adding brick, that foundation will appear to be appear to be deeper than the house itself. It'll appear that the house is sitting 2 inches back or whatever on the brick, on the foundation. Do you see what I mean? And most houses sit forward a little bit of the foundation. And there's no precedence for this other than your own home, which is next door, which may have some of that, but it doesn't show at all because of planting in front of it.
However, the brick skirt at my house was approved by the Cultural Heritage Board when there were no plantings. So, the plantings we put in later, and it was a wood shingle skirt before.
Ms. Spain, I have just a question. The brick, that'll be the facade on the house. How tall will that be?
16 inches.
Okay, so
height of the porch.
Yeah, so basically, you're going from the ground to pretty much interior floor height. And so the area that you're covering is actually probably like your crawl space under the house. I'm going to take kind of a different view than Board Member Garrett in that I would probably prefer, if you did the brick, to remove that section of lap siding. The siding material that's on that house isn't unique. It's a pretty standard. There's probably 1,000 houses or more in Santa Rosa that have that siding. There's nothing really special about it. You can still buy that siding. And I would like to see probably the brick applied like it would have been applied if it was done originally, and that would have been just, up tight against the shear wall, and with a moisture barrier, and then a flashing across the top that flashed between the horizontal siding and the top of the brick, so that it looked, the idea of leaving a space or putting it over the top, I think it's going to visually not be very appealing, as Board Member Garrett said. And if you were going to have the brick there, I think to apply it appropriately, like it would have been done originally, would be the way to go. I had a Queen Anne Victorian for over 20 years, and I replaced the wood porch 3 times. So because of, you just can't get good material anymore, and it just gets wet and it rots. So I totally understand. And being low to the ground, as that wood porch is, that just lends itself even more to be in contact with moisture. So personally, I don't have any problem with your project. If it was coming before us tonight, I would probably vote in favor of it. So, but other board members, any other comments for Vice Chair Prazelis?
Thank you. Just a quick thank you for coming to us with this, and I'm sorry that it took a while, and I know that you're eager to get it through. I don't have any specific suggestions, but just, if it came to me, I wouldn't have any problem with it. I think it looks good. So
thank you.
Thank you.
Here they come, Board Member Fennell.
I can just speak to the fact that with real estate, I sell, most of the homes I sell are in the historic districts. And the majority of homes that have come before me in the last 2 years have had so much dry rot and so much rot down near that skirting where the wood would be that I just actually had one in the Burbank Gardens that had a wood or had a brick facade on the front of the house that did overlap the front, and that was the only place on the whole house that didn't have dry rot that needed to be treated. So I think that I like the brick. I think that brick is an important facade in the Mcdonald district, and I would like to see them be able to protect their house with the brick in a way that the wood siding won't be able to. That's it.
Yeah. Thank you, Board Member Fennell. Board Member Bourne.
I'm looking at the drawing where you've put the red brick, and then I'm going back to the photograph, and it looks like the brick is going higher where you've drawn it than just even with the porch. Just curious about that.
Even with the porch was the idea.
Okay.
So with all that's been said, is there any reason why I wouldn't be able to move forward with putting in the brick steps at this point and brick skirt?
I'm going to jump in and interject. The project scope does include the landscaping. If the landscaping were on its own, it would go to the zoning administrator. But because it's not on its own, it's part of the project scope. I'd like to bring that back and make sure that, and no board members have comments about the landscaping. And then I'm happy to address Mr. Bean's question about moving forward with work right now, if you would like me to.
Board Member Carrot.
I just wanted to make one point again about the siding. The siding does not come down to the ground. It's 6 or 8 inches above the ground. There is a concrete foundation. That's the way all the houses on Mcdonald Avenue are built, with a concrete foundation, and then the historic houses on top. This will have no contact with the ground. It will certainly where the porch is, and that I don't have an issue with that. I have an issue with bringing the brick up the face of the siding, and I don't know if that will only be in the front or go all the way around the house. And so it changes the character of the building itself by going several courses of that Clearheart redwood siding that's on there above the airspace, the crawl space under the house.
It's just on the street side and wraps around where the porch is, where there's going to be steps on the north side, not the entire house.
And I'm happy with all the landscaping. I mean, I think it looks fine. I mean, it looks very nice.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, Mr. Bean, so what I'm hearing so far is with regards to your project, that everything looks to be approved with the exception of the the brick over the lap siding on the house. So you may have an issue with the board there. Also, I think you should really talk to Ms. Tomas regarding fencing. So I think Board Member Garrett brought up a really good point that we don't want to surprise you and find out that when you go to put a fence up that you got to come back and under a separate permit. So if landscaping and is all part of this, then get your fence design set as well, so that we can look at all of it at one point. So any final comments or suggestions for Mr. Bean from our board members?
I have planned a white picket fence, about 3 feet tall, with pickets that are square and pointed at the top.
Board Member
Would it be
Garrett?
similar to the fencing that was existing originally?
It's white, not that heavy, and not that tall.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I think that's all you need to say when you submit it.
All right. And I really don't want to go over the siding with the brick. That was my alternative if I didn't get the approval as suggested by city staff to leave a little space and go over the top of it. But I'm more than happy to remove the bottom couple rows and put in a flashing and not put the brick against the siding. That's my preferred way.
Yeah.
If you did that, could you keep the siding so that it could be replaced at a later time?
You mean keep the siding I take off?
Right.
It's readily available. I checked at Golden State Lumber and
They have clear heart redwood siding?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
they have the same pattern.
Yeah, it's not old growth, but it's clear heart. It's young heart redwood. Okay. Any final comments?
Chair Muser?
So could I proceed with my brick steps?
I'm happy to respond to that, Chair Muser. Before I do, I'm going to ask you if I don't mean to catch you off guard, but I'm wondering if you might be able to provide a summary of the board comments in terms of any direction that the Beans would have it going forward. And hear a lot of comments, but if you did, I want to make sure they don't miss them, and we'll put them into our minutes. And then to address Mr. Bean's question, no, you cannot start your work. There is no action being taken tonight, and this needs to come back to the board and get approval before you do the work.
Okay.
Okay, well, so I recall, and I heard correctly, Board Member Garrett doesn't have any issue with the landscaping or with the brick porch or with the brick steps going up to the porch, but would prefer to not see the lap siding on the house replaced with brick. Am I correct with that? Okay. Board Member Pratzellis, thank Mr. Beam for his patience and understanding of taking so long, and did not indicate to have any issues with the project. Correct, Vice Chair? Okay. With that. And Board Member Boren did not indicate to have any issues with the current project. Is that correct, Board Member Boren? And Board Member Fennell supported the concrete, the brick porch and the brick steps, and also acknowledged that the brick on this replacing the siding on the house would serve to help reduce dry rot and those issues that she has experienced and seen. Anything else, Board Member Fennell? Okay. And my comments were that that I support the project as it stands, but with, and not a big deal, but just that would prefer to see if there was going to be brick replacing the lap siding, that it be done in a manner that it would have been done originally, that the brick would have a proper footing, foundation under it, and that it would be properly flashed and done like it would have been done if the building was being built new. And that'd be limited to just the 16 inches, which is basically your crawl space in the house. So. Okay, do we capture that? Okay. Well, with that, unless any board members have any further comments, and unless Mr. Bean, you have any further comments, or Miss? Okay. We can put Mr. Bean on. I see a hand.
Could I request to be on the agenda for the March 16 meeting to hopefully get a vote and proceed?
Mr. Bean, you're going to need to work with Kristen A. Tumians, your planner, to schedule that. And it's too late to get on the March 16th meeting. That meeting has been officially canceled at this point. Or well, it will be officially canceled because we're past all deadlines. But work with Kristen A. Tumians and she'll be able to help you get on the next available agenda, or on the soonest available agenda, maybe not the next one.
And there's no meetings in April?
Correct.
Okay, my apologies, Mr. Bean, for the delays. Being the personal restorer of 3 different historic structures, I know that it's hard, and I know that living in a historic district and the additional regulations make it tough. In the end, though, you just have to believe that it's worth it. Anyway, I know you're going to have another substantial delay, but we hope to see you back in April or as soon as possible.
Thank you all for having me and your attention to my project. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, with that, I don't see any other business. Thank you, Mr. Bean. Thank you, staff, city staff, and thank all the board members for joining in and being here today. And we'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye.